Alright, so let's answer a question that nobody was asking. Is the Canon 70D still worth it in 2019? So the Canon 70D was popularized by YouTuber Casey Neistat in 2017 going through 2018, and I think that is where this camera really got all of its shine from. Match that with a Joby GorillaPod and you have the perfect vlogging rig. Let's go over some of the features of the 70D. With this kit lens we have image stabilization. The actual camera itself has a whole bunch of different shooting modes up here at the top. This is still the big brother to a lot of cameras underneath Canon's lineup. Anyway, jumping over to the right side, we have the shutter button, some dials, physical controls for your autofocus, drive, ISO, picture profile, maybe. I don't actually know what that button is. And a button for a little light. That's because a lot of things you can control without ever having to look at the screen. There's an LCD screen here at the top that you have very quick access to all of your key features. And then on the back, there's just very basic remedial stuff like start, stop for your recording, and like a menu button, and like a zoom in when you're manually focusing, and like your recent pictures and stuff. But speaking about the screen itself, this is the standout feature on why everyone wanted this camera. That's a flip out screen right there. Not only is that a flip out screen, this is a fully touchscreen screen. You can actually touch it and use it as a touch screen, unlike something like a Sony, where yeah, it might be a touch screen, but you can't navigate through the menu with the touch screen. You can only touch to focus. Off here to the side, we have a microphone input as well as a remote input. Then we have a mini, not micro, mini HDMI and an AV output, or I guess it's input, AV out. I don't know, I never used that one. So we have a very, very capable camera. It's able to use Canon EF mount lenses, so that's like the vast majority of lenses that Canon has. What are the features that this camera is lacking? Well, the most important thing to me was slow motion. You see, a lot of the video work that I was doing for a long time was music videos, and that required slow motion for me. I ended up upgrading to the Sony a6400, and not only did I get slow motion at 120 frames per second in 1080p, I also got 4K. That is definitely something that you do not get with this here camera. The most you get is 1080p, which by all means is completely usable. 1080p is more than enough. It's a very quick rundown of the camera as a whole. You know, some pros and cons here. This is like a mid-range DSLR. It's not bottom tier, just starting out DSLR, okay? This thing is not a $300 T2i or something like that. Actually, I just watched a video. You can get one of those for like $150, $200. This lens that I have right here is a 3.5 to a 5.6. That kind of goes into some of the negative aspects of this camera. You have to pay a lot to get a very fast camera. By fast, I mean something that the aperture can open wide, let in more light, something like a 1.2, 1.4. You're definitely gonna need something like that with this camera. This camera is terrible at night. You need a lot of light if you're looking to use this camera and get a nice, clean image. You're losing slow motion, there's no 4K, it's only 1080p, but how does this camera really look? Best way to find out is just use it, right? I think we might, there. I can barely even tell if it's working or not. This is really how it look. I mean, here it is, you know, this is it. This is 1080p glory right here. It's a different experience using this camera. One of the benefits that I did not mention is Canon autofocus. right now, you can see that as my face is moving, I'm able to track that real time. Canon's dual pixel autofocus is just about the leading autofocus in the industry. And that's something that you don't get with Sony or Nikon. You kind of get it with Panasonic, but like, yeah, whatever. So what really sets this apart from an A6400? The difference is that the 70D is designed to be used with the touchscreen. It's hard to change your settings when you're using an external monitor. So navigating the camera when you're using an external monitor is very difficult. Luckily, you do have like the buttons on top that you can use, but if it wasn't for those, you would not be able to navigate this camera. You can't go through the menu and use the touchpad at the back to change settings. You have to rely on your touchscreen. So here we are, big question. Is the Canon 70D worth it in 2019? You see what it looks like right now. This is coming straight out of the camera. My audio is coming straight out of the camera. The settings are just about the same. They're as close as I can get them with my Sony. Actually, let's go ahead and let's change back to this actually. And we're back. So I guess now it's time for the final verdict. This camera holds a special place in my heart. It's my first big boy camera. It taught me a lot, but ultimately, I bought this camera because of influence. I bought it because I was one of the people watching Casey Neistat and I was looking at what he was doing and thinking that I could do the same thing. He has different needs for a camera. If you're shooting a lot of video, if you want something more than the bare minimum for video features, the Canon 70D is not worth it in 2019. It wasn't worth it in 2017 when I bought this. Unless you can get this camera for a ridiculously good price, I am talking $500 or something like that, this camera is not worth it whatsoever. You would have better luck using the M50 that just came out. But I don't think that this camera is worth it for video. I don't think it's really even worth it for photos. If you just want a beginner DSLR and you want to start learning how to take pictures and videos and you want to mess with lenses and stuff, go ahead and get something like a T3i or something on their lower end, their beginner models. But this one right here, this is not worth it. In my opinion, I don't think that Canon cameras really get worth it until you get in the upper price range, like a 1DX. If you care about video whatsoever, Canon just isn't your brand. That's something that I knew deep down, but I wasn't accepting before. But as you can tell, I switched over to Sony. Sony, Panasonic, these other camera companies, they get it. They know that we want the video features. Canon neglects video features. So my final verdict is, I don't think that this camera has a place in 2019. I personally am much more satisfied with my Sony. I think that the picture I get from it is miles better, and it's just so much easier to work with. Let me know what you think in the description below. This camera for me has kind of just become a little decoration here in the office. Speaking of office, I don't know if that's even a good segue into anything. I am approaching 100 subscribers. If you didn't know, I'm doing a giveaway when I reach that 100 subscriber mark. I should probably mention, I'm giving away a Rode Video Micro. If you want to enter the giveaway, 1, be subscribed to this YouTube channel. Go down there and hit the little subscribe button. Helps out a lot. Number 2, go down to the description, hit the link to the Facebook page. Go and like that Facebook page. I need some sort of way to message you if you win. And yeah, that's all that I have. Let me know what camera you're using. Let me know what you think of the 70D. Let me know your opinions on Canon versus Sony and what you think the best camera on the market is, the most worth it camera in 2019. And yeah, come back every Tuesday and Saturday for more videos. Like, comment, subscribe, share, all of that good YouTuber stuff. And I'm out. Yeah, okay, whatever.